Football. Wildcats. Football. Wildcats. Football.
I got
it. Football. Wildcats. Football. Wildcats. Football.
Welcome to the Married with Picks podcast, season 4, episode 11, week 11. All right, Steve, how'd you make out last week?
I didn't do too well last week.
No? I don't remember if we were on the same side or different sides, but I know I did pretty good. I think I was on the right side of every game except the Titans, which kind of killed me. And we had 2 bets. That was one of them, so you did win that. And the other one was technically a push because you had the Chargers and I had the Lions. We bet it at -3. It did go down to -2.5 before game time. So, but it was a push as far as we were concerned.
So you have me 20?
Yes.
It's a good week for me.
All right. So this week, week 11, we have 4 teams on bye: the Falcons, Colts, Patriots, Saints. A lot of division matchups. And I really gotta, you might be in the same order. No. Okay. We had the same first one anyway, because I messed up. I went off the Yahoo site.
Yeah, we're way different. And
it feels weird. Okay. So first game is the Steelers at the Browns. This is a division game. The Browns are favored by 1.5. Lowest total on the board at 32.5. Both defensive-minded teams. These teams did play back in week 2. Pittsburgh won that game 26-22. Deshaun Watson will be out for the rest of the season. And instead of starting PJ Walker in this one, they are going back to DTR, who started back in week 4. They lost that game to Baltimore 28-3. He threw 3 interceptions. So I was prepared to take the Browns when I assumed it was going to be PJ Walker. I don't trust Dorian Thompson-Robinson, I think is his name. DTR is what they call him. So I don't really have a play on this.
I mean, Pittsburgh just keeps getting out yardaged in games and wins. You know, they're 6-3. If they win this game, they would be 7-3, just one game, back of the Ravens. Half game, really. So I don't know. I like Pittsburgh here. I just think that they would. I don't like Cleveland's quarterback situation at all. Whether it's
and apparently Joe Flacco was on a plane to Cleveland.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting. That would be even worse. So
well, listen, I assume just as a backup. I don't know.
I don't know. I would take Pittsburgh.
All right. I'm not touching it. All right, next game is the Bears at the Lions. Lions are favored by 7.5. This is also a division game. Lions won both matchups against the Bears last year. One was a bit of a shootout, 31-30. The other, they won 41-10. We will have Justin Fields back at quarterback for the Bears. A bit of a wild card there since we haven't seen him in a few weeks. I almost feel like the coaching staff was doing better when it wasn't Fields. Like they almost don't like Fields. So I don't trust the game plan that they would come up with. I mean, I think it could be a competitive game, but maybe they're almost trying to set Fields up for not success. So I don't like the hook, but I got to take the Lions.
Yeah, I think the Lions are the only way to go here against the spread on the season. They're 7-2. They have the best record overall in the NFL against the spread. I think it continues here against Chicago.
All right, so you're on the Lions.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, next game is the Chargers at the Packers. Chargers are favored by 3. I don't have a whole lot to say about this. I haven't seen anything out of the Packers that makes me want to take them. Chargers definitely have more talent on their roster. They looked pretty good last week in a bit of a shootout with the Lions. I worry a little bit about the travel and potential cold weather in Green Bay for Justin Herbert. We saw Keenan Allen, I think it's his shoulder, last week in game. He did come back in that game. He is expected to play in this game. So I think the Chargers are just the better team. I don't ever really feel comfortable taking the Chargers as a favorite, but a lot of big lines
Especially
this
on the
week.
road,
This
tough.
one is only 3, so I got to go Chargers.
I don't see any way to go Green Bay. they're pretty lame. I think they've stunk all season. I still feel like the Vegas lines, they don't have them figured out yet. Probably a little bit too much respect. They're sitting at 3-6. They are at home. And I'm not necessarily in love with the Chargers, but in this game, I think you got to give up the points. Take the team coming in on the road, take the Chargers -3.
Okay, same side of that one. Next game is the Raiders at the Dolphins. Dolphins are favored. I printed this out last night, I think. So it's 12.5 here. I think it was actually, I saw it at 13.5. Yeah. So it's growing. And the first question I asked when I saw this game is, what is the Raiders record on the season? They are 5-5. That might be 500, but it's not above 500. So this is the Dolphins' sweet spot. They beat up on bad teams. They're coming off the bye. They're going to have Devin Achane back, it looks like. Raiders got their 2 wins since Josh McDaniel got fired. It was against 2 bad teams, the Giants and the Jets, who may have a decent defense, but they don't have much of an offense. So I think we're going to see what we expect to see of the Dolphins. I think they can definitely put up the points and hold the Raiders off. I don't love taking a 13.5 point line. I would probably alt line it down to like at least -9.5 and put it in with something else.
This could be one of the big lines that I am comfortable with.
But, well, I would say that out of all the big lines, this would be the one that I would be most comfortable taking. I certainly think they can easily beat them by 20 points or more.
Yeah. I like it at 13.5 though, inside 2 touchdowns. But just playing it at home, I think Vegas is overmatched. They looked bad last week. They did not look good. They look good against the Giants, and even though they're a bad team, they struggled mightily with the Jets, and the Jets just can't get out of their own way on offense. So otherwise, they probably would have beaten or probably about 28 teams would have beaten Vegas last week, I think. So Miami coming in, 13.5 point favorites, playing at home. I still think you still take them.
Yeah. Okay. Same side of that one. Next game is the Giants at the Commanders. Commanders are favored by 9.5. This is also a division game. These teams played back in week 7. The Giants actually won that game 14-7. That was when Giants had some sign of life with Tyrod Taylor at quarterback. This will be Tommy DeVito. Barkley was limited at practice with the ankle, which was what caused him to be out for a few games earlier in the season. I kind of feel like we're at the point where he may not play the whole game because what's the point? I don't know if the Commanders deserve to be 9.5 point favorites.
It's tough.
So that makes it hard. But I
want to go Giants so bad just because of so many points.
It's a division game. Horrible. It's a lot of points. I mean, what's the Commanders' record on the season?
They're 4-6.
Yeah.
So they get back to 5-6 and, still technically in that playoff hunt.
I mean, how does a 4-6 team get to be a 10-point favorite?
Yeah, it's wacky. The Giants are just that bad, I think.
I mean, they're pretty bad.
And Sam how can move that offense.
Yeah, he can definitely move it. I guess, the Giants played him pretty tight on defense last time around. They may have had some motivation at that point in the season. I don't know how much they have at this point. So, I would consider taking the Commanders. The only thing that really holds me back is the fact that I don't know that they deserve to be. And I noticed next week, I guess the Commanders play Dallas, and Dallas is a 9.5 point favorite over the Commanders. So,
yeah, and the Giants, if you look ahead, the next week have the Patriots. So it's actually a winnable game because the Patriots are horrible. So, I think you probably, even with all these points, I hate to say it.
Yeah.
It's a division game. We should be on the Giants here, but I'm going to take the Skins.
Okay. Next game is the Cowboys at the Panthers. Cowboys are 10.5 point favorites. Panthers are pretty bad. We got to see them last week on Thursday Night Football. They just couldn't really get anything going on offense. Frank Reich is taking over play calling duties, which he just gave up a couple weeks ago. So that's probably not a good sign of what's going on there.
I believe in Frank Reich as a play caller. I just think he got in a bad rut. He could stepped away a couple games.
It's just weird that you give it up and then you take it back.
Oh, because the other guy was horrible.
But he wasn't good either, which is why you gave it up in the first place. You
got to bring it back. If you sit there and watch somebody fumble it away, you have to be the leader and take over.
I heard today that these coaches like Frank Reich and them wanted to take CJ Stroud over Bryce Young, and it was the ownership that wanted to take Bryce Young. So I don't know that they can really be too mad at Reich. But the thing that worries me about this is we have the Cowboys going on the road outdoors. I have like visions of the Arizona game in my head. This is one that would worry me taking the Cowboys at 10.5. So even though I haven't seen anything out of the Panthers that makes me want to take them, I'm a little leery of the Cowboys in this spot.
Especially coming off that big win last week, against the Giants, 49-17. I think they come in here a little soft. I like Carolina. I think Frank Reich taking back over the plays can get a fresh look again and probably have some thoughts over the last couple of weeks of things that he could do differently. I think it's going to be you probably take the under in this one too, but I like Carolina.
All right. I don't like Carolina, but
it's hard to like Carolina, but I would take them over Dallas.
No play on this. All right. Next game is the Titans at the Jaguars. Jaguars are 7-point favorites. This is a division game as well. I'm a fan of the Titans. They killed me last week. Absolutely not. I'm not jinxing myself. So Jags won both matchups against the Titans last year. One was the start that Josh Dobbs had for the Titans. Historically, the Jags have been a good matchup for Derrick Henry. He had that 4-touchdown game with the 99-yard run. He did have 100 yards plus in both matchups last year. Jags defense, as far as the run is concerned, is better than it has been in the past, but I think Derrick Henry will at least be able to get something going this week, which he wasn't able to do last week against the Bucs. I don't like the Jags. I think they're overrated. I actually saw where they put up stats of two quarterbacks. One was Trevor Lawrence. The other one was Mac Jones, and they were like virtually identical. So I think the Jags have gotten away with hiding Trevor Lawrence over the course of these games. And so I just can't. I can't quit these Titans, man. I can't. I got to take the points.
I could poke so many holes in this comparison between Mac Jones and Trevor Lawrence. I mean, first of all.
I don't think so.
First of all, if you let me speak.
Go for it.
Woman.
Go ahead. You're such a Peterson lover. That's the only reason.
Well, listen, here's the deal, man. You're talking about Mac Jones who puts up stats like in the fourth quarter after they're down by 3 touchdowns when he's been
When has he done that? I haven't even seen. I have not seen
back a bunch of times
time.
and he's come back. Yes, he's come back many times.
Not this year.
Short. Yeah, this year.
No,
absolutely.
I disagree.
A lot in the beginning of the season too. You probably weren't watching close enough, but this is BS, dude. Trevor Lawrence is much better. He had a bad week last week. Okay, they're coming off the bye. Looked a little rusty. I think that they take it to Tennessee here. Absolutely. But they're 6-3, right? Jacksonville?
Yeah, sounds about right.
6-3. Tennessee's 3-6. Tennessee might as well keep kicking the trash can. Away record 0-5.
Who?
Tennessee on the road.
Titans.
I think it stays at 7. The only thing I worry about is pushing here, being about a 7-point game. But, I think it's a division game. Usually they play these tight, but I think Jacksonville comes out disappointed, upset, ready for
No, I think they're going to be facing reality.
Last week's game. No, they're a good team.
That their record is better than they are.
They are.
And the Titans are a better team than their record is, damn it.
The Titans suck. The quarterback sucks, and this is a quarterback league.
Well, we're going to see. This is his next chance, Levis.
This is his next chance,
do something.
All right, to
he gets
fall
one
flat
more
on
chance.
his face. Come on, you got it. This is the game. This is your team.
No,
this
you're
is
not
going to
jinx me.
I like Jacksonville this
bad
season. You like
odds
Tennessee
against
this
you.
season.
I know, but I bet you
right.
Titans last week and I lost.
Weak.
I'm not doing
You're so
it again.
weak.
Whatever. All right, so you're on the Jags. I'm on the Titans.
Yeah.
Next game.
Definitely Jacksonville.
Yeah, we'll see. Cardinals at Texans. Texans are on my sheet 4.5, but I think that's up to 5.5, 6. So this one's tough. I hate these like 5-point lines because they're just kind of like a no man's land.
But are you like sold on CJ Stroud?
I am. I'm all in. I still don't know that we saw enough out of Kyler Murray last week to know. They did play Atlanta.
I feel like I'm the only one in the country that still is like, okay, I'm not ready to hand him the title yet.
Well, I mean, for a rookie, he's doing pretty good. And he's done it fairly consistently over the course of the season. I'm not really sure. So, I mean, CJ Stroud has been better at home. They are going to be at home in this one. And then actually it occurred to me, D'Amico Ryans is the head coach of the Texans now. He was from San Francisco, so maybe he's familiar with Kyler Murray because they were in the same division out there. But Kyler Murray actually didn't play in any of the games that he would have been the defensive coordinator for, with the exception of the 2021 season. So I don't know that we can put too much.
Serious?
D'Amico Ryans
was D'Amico Ryans was the defense coordinator for San Fran for a while. 2021
to 2023.
Yeah, well, I mean, he might have been on the do before that. He was
on the staff, but exactly. But how long has Kyler Murray been a quarterback? Not that much.
He's been quarterback for a while, 5 years, I think.
Well, okay, years. But still. So the last 2 years, they didn't face Kyler Murray in any of the matchups that they had, one way or the other. So I don't know that helps us much. So I definitely think the Texans can win this game. I could see Arizona keeping it closer. I mean, the Cardinals defense is so bad. So I think the Texans can move the ball. What's your pick?
2019, Kyler Murray came into the league.
Okay.
I like Arizona. I think Kyler Murray's back and is going to rejuvenate this team. And I kind of I can't believe I'm saying this, but I like them. John Connor's back. You know, he's running. James Conner, the Terminator. He's running. You don't even know that reference, do you? So sad.
Is that like an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie?
Yeah, the Terminator?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the reference Terminator to the Terminator movies.
John Connor was the guy, who saved the world. But anyway, Arizona.
All right.
I like Arizona. I think with Connor back, Murray under control, he looked decent last week and got the win against Atlanta. And he goes on the road. They need help on the road. They're not that good this year, but I think they're going to be a whole different team. They are a whole different team with Kyler Murray behind there. I'll take them.
All right, I could see it being closer, but I'm going to stick with my Texans.
Take the points. I mean, probably, that's the 3-point game.
I don't know. All right, next game is the Bucks at the 49ers. So Bucks actually looked pretty good last week against the Titans, at least on defense. And obviously San Fran looked pretty good last week against the Jags. I could see Baker Mayfield with like a backdoor cover. I don't know if I mentioned, but 49ers are favored by 11.5. Is that what you still have?
12, starting to shoot up to 12 and a half. So It's probably going up a Sunday. Maybe 12, 13.
So it's a big line. The Bucks do have a good run defense, so they might be able to slow CMC down a little bit in the run game. I don't think they can stop the 49ers completely. I definitely think the 49ers win this game. I'm a little worried about that big line now. So I would probably outline this down and put it in with something else. I did see, and I remember this, apparently Lake Bosa and Baker Mayfield played against each other back in college, and there was something that Baker Mayfield did with like planting a flag. And I remember the game where Bosa planted a flag when they face each other in the NFL. So now Bosa has Chase Young on the D-line with him. So I think they can get home to Baker, so maybe they can keep the offense at bay. I think I'm more worried about like a backdoor cover, kind of like what we saw with the Bucks against the Bills a few weeks ago. What are your thoughts on this game?
I just worry about a look ahead. They got Seattle next week, right? Big division matchup for the division lead. And then they have the Eagles, the highly anticipated rematch of the NFC Championship from last year. the week after. So could they be looking ahead at the Buccaneers? I don't know. I don't think so because Debo just came back. If you remember last week, we talked about, like San Fran against the Jaguars because Debo was back and they're a whole different identity with him in that offense when he's on the field. So I'm going to stick with them. I know it's a lot of points, but I'm going to stick with the Niners and lay the 11.5, 12 points.
Okay. Yeah, I would probably have to all line it down to like maybe 6.5 to feel comfortable. All right. Next game is the Jets at the Bills. This is also a division game. These teams played back in week 1. Bills won that game 22-16. Bills were favored by 2.5 at that time, but that was Aaron Rodgers supposed to be a quarterback for the Jets. So I don't know if we can compare. Bills are favored by 7 in this one. Bills are 5-5 on the season. They fired their offensive coordinator this week after their disastrous loss last week to the Broncos. Jets can't score, and I'm going to say the same thing I said last week. You got Zach Wilson with Nathaniel Hackett, who's just not helping his cause at all. A bad offensive line. Bills desperately need a win to stay relevant at this point. So I think the Bills will win, and I will take them at 7.
Well, Joe Brady's back in charge, taking over the Bills offense. He led that prominent LSU offense when.
Well, where was Joe Brady? Oh, he was on the Bills staff?
Yeah.
Okay.
So he's promoted to offensive coordinator. I think that they, obviously the fans are going to love this move. I'm going to run with Buffalo. I think, at least in this first game, playing against the Jets, and they had lost that game. The other game that they played against the Jets, if you remember, first game of the season. So
they what?
They lost.
No, they didn't lose.
Didn't the Bills lose to the Jets?
I thought they won.
I
wrote down that they won. It was 20. I mean, they struggled with them a little bit. It was 22-16. My memory was like that it was more recent, but
I thought that was the first game of the season.
It was week 1. They played.
No, the Bills won. They won. The Jets won. I mean, the Jets ran the kickoff, the punt back.
Oh, okay.
Overtime.
All right, I wrote it down.
Won the game.
I wrote it down wrong. Okay.
Yeah, 22-16 Jets.
Okay,
so
yeah.
that was a really painful game for the Jets, and I think that they've kind of struggled or been sluggish other than maybe a handful of games all season. So I know it's doom and gloom in Buffalo, but this is the right kind of move that could turn around an offense and maybe lead to some momentum heading into the playoffs. And we all know the Bills have a lot of talent. So I'm not putting them in the Super Bowl. I'm just looking at this game on Sunday, and I think it's revenge for the week 1. It's a perfect storm for Buffalo, bringing in a new coordinator here.
I do think that
I think they got the right guy.
Dorsey was the problem, or was he the scapegoat?
I think he was the problem.
Okay.
For sure. I mean, just look at, listen, it's him or Josh Allen, and Josh Allen ain't going anywhere. So we'll see. It could be Josh Allen.
I'm asking, is it him or is it Sean McDermott?
Well, Sean McDermott.
Who's responsible for that 12th man on defense? It ain't Ken Dorsey. I can tell you that.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Well, he could be the scapegoat from that standpoint, but there's no denying that the Buffalo offense has struggled all season compared to what we thought it was going to be. They're high flying.
Well, I don't know. I would have guessed that they would have taken a step backwards after they lost Dayball, because I think Dayball was responsible for that.
No, that was last year.
Success.
They've had a whole year to get it together. This is the second year since Dayball. So
no, I know.
Anyway, I'm going to take Buffalo minus the 7. What do you like?
I already said I like the Bills.
All right.
Okay.
On the same side there.
All right. Next game is the Seahawks at the Raiders. Seahawks are favored by 1.
The Rams.
What did I say?
The Raiders.
I meant the Rams. Seahawks are favored by 1. This is a division game. So I always talk about how Kyle Shanahan owns Sean McVay. And I was kind of surprised to see this, that Sean McVay owns Pete Carroll. So Rams and the Seahawks played back in week 1. The Rams won that game 30-13. A bit of a surprise, I think, back then. Last year, both meetings between these teams, the Rams did not have Stafford at quarterback. One was the Baker Mayfield game. But in the meetings between McVay and Carroll, not including the 2 from last year, McVay is 8-2. So we have Stafford will be back at quarterback for the Rams. And should something happen to him in game, we have Carson Wentz to come in and save the day. So my pick is going to be the Rams here.
I like Seattle. I'm on the other side. I think they bucked the trend. This is my buck the trend game. Seattle comes in here. McVay has had their number. But I think Pete Carroll can get the job done here. They need this win bad coming into this 49ers matchup next week to try to keep pace with them, because if they win this game, they're a game back. They beat San Fran, they can take the lead in the division.
Well, wait a minute.
So I worry about a look ahead here, just like I worried about San Fran a little bit, but it's not going to sway my decision to go with Seattle in this game.
But Seattle won last week, right? Against the Commanders. It was
They won by 3.
So who's on?
Choked that one up.
Who's on top of that division? Isn't it still the Seahawks?
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Okay.
No, it's San Fran. They're 6-3. They're both 6-3. So, but
okay.
I mentioned that they were a game back. Then they're not. They're tied.
Okay. All right.
So they need to keep pace. San Fran's 11-point heavy favorite, right, against Tampa Bay. So you figure San Fran, whether they cover or not, they're definitely going to win that game. So Seattle needs to win this game to stay on pace. And then the winner of the next week's game between San Fran and Seattle will be an outright leader of the division.
Okay. All right. So opposite sides of that one. Next game is the
Want to bet on it?
Vikings. Fine. I'll bet you on it.
Seattle. Okay. I want pick.
If you're watching, you should take Seattle.
Pick.
Okay. Next game is what?
Pick, right?
What's
pick.
that? What's that mean? Yeah. Pick. Bet. Pick bet.
The line is a pick'em.
Oh, okay. I had -1.
Well, I see it all over the place. -1,
but it doesn't
+1.
really matter.
Even. I got pick right here. And that helps me. So I'm negotiating. Oh, there's +1. See, look, I see a +1 and -1.
All right, we'll do a pick.
All right.
All right. And if the Rams
tie.
Well, no. But if that point would have made a difference, then that would be my luck. All right. Next game is the Vikings at the Broncos. Broncos are favored by 2.5.
That's the night game?
Yes. Sunday night game. So Broncos will be coming off their big win over Buffalo last week. We have Josh Dobbs coming in for the Vikings with 2 wins under his belt for Minnesota. I don't have a lot to say, but I'm just going to take the points and go with Dobbs.
All right, I'm going to take Sean Payton. I think Sean Payton is a great coach, and he's a little rusty coming out. You know, Russell Wilson hasn't been the elite quarterback that we know him to be from the past, but I think Denver's starting to get their act together. This line stays under 3. I'm taking Denver.
Okay. I mean, I haven't seen anything out of the Denver offense that really impresses me. And Flores is doing a pretty good job with the defense there
You want to go on this game too?
Minnesota. Oh, what the hell?
All right, there's 2. We can push.
Okay.
You win, I win 1.
All right.
You win 1, I win 1.
Next game is the Super Bowl rematch, Monday Night Football, Eagles at Chiefs. Chiefs are favored by 2.5. So as we know, last year, these teams met in the Super Bowl. Chiefs won that game 38-35. Both teams will be coming off the bye. We all know that Andy Reid has pretty good stats coming off the bye. Nick Sirianni is also 2-0 after a bye.
Connected to.
Eagles defense has not played that well this year. They're not very good against the tight end, which sets up well for Travis Kelce. I believe Taylor Swift will be in attendance. So
What? I thought she was in tour down South America.
Well, he was there too, but I'm sure they're back now.
Can we just talk about this Taylor Swift thing
It's
for a
annoying.
second? I hate to even give credence to this whole topic, but I mean, Taylor Swift is raised an Eagles fan.
Mm-hmm.
She's from the greater Philadelphia area.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a little annoying that she's parading around in Chiefs jerseys and stuff like this, especially if she's showing up this
Well,
week.
maybe they can get her one like the mother has, where it's like half and half.
Yeah, then you heard that from who? Me. Exactly. I mean, that's probably what's going to be corny. Her and Donna Kelsey up there with their mixed jerseys, but that's better than her sitting up there parading in the. There's no way that she can go to this game and wear a Chiefs jersey and no recollection or recognition of her Philadelphia roots. I'm going to be pretty pissed. Not that I'm going to threaten to not be a fan of Taylor Swift anymore because I'm not a fan of Taylor Swift.
I was going to say, please don't tell me you're a fan of Taylor
I'm
Swift.
Taylor
We might have to
Swiftie.
divorce right now.
Well, babe, how
I'm
much
not a fan.
Taylor Swift am I bebopping around the house
Yeah,
to?
no,
Do you
not
know
a
what I
fan.
mean? Zero.
Okay.
Well, I mean, she does have some catchy tunes, but
And how
I'm
long
not
is this thing with Travis Kelce really going to last?
So this is all BS, right? It's for Travis Kelce to sell more jerseys and make more money, and this is all BS. It's not going to last. And then, in 6 months from now, we'll get ourselves a little Taylor Swift. I dated a football player, and he's had smelly armpits kind of song.
Anyway.
She'll make more money from the whole outcome.
What's your pick on the game?
I like the Birds. Are you kidding me?
All right.
Andy Reid is tough after a bye, but there's no way that we go into Kansas City and lose 2 games in a row after losing the Super Bowl last year. This is revenge, baby. And this is the time that we got to get Kansas City because we're not going to get to play them in the Super Bowl because Kansas City's not going to make it that far. I take the Birds.
All right. I'm going to take the Chiefs.
3? Let's do it.
Oh, fine.
Birds.
All right.
EAGLES. Eagles.
This should be a fun one. All right, so that'll do it for us for week 11. You queued up the exit music, but it's not ready to go now that we actually need it. If you're watching, please like, subscribe. Feel free to leave us a comment.
I got all excited.
All right.
Let me end it on the Eagles. It's Monday Night Football, baby. I can't wait.
Oh, God. All right. Peace out.